Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be another Circle of Friends video for the bear. I do have specific channeled messages that'll be in the beginning of this video. And as I've been doing with the other readings, I've been flowing through the energy and the days, the months, the signs. So this one is for the sign of Aquarius. So welcome if you're another sign, and welcome if you have Aquarius in another part of your chart. I'll start off with my channeled messages and then I'll start pulling out the cards. I have most of my cards in storage, so I'll be using the ones that I have out. So to continue on with what happened in the last video, the cleansing of the bear, I did see the bear's mind again, and the he looked like he was trying to create light, the light that was once there, that the being that inhabited his space was creating. But this light that he was trying to create, the it wasn't the pure light that was there before. So I encountered the bear again, and then when I saw the bear there, he was on the floor, um last time, coughing up lots of water as if, you know, rescuing a person that has drowned in a way. Um, that type of coughing up water. This time it was in pain, and it was something to see because I was getting nauseous when I was looking at what I was seeing. And because towards the beginning, when I first encountered the bear, it was like those kind of tentacles or snake like energies that would kind of wrap around sometimes, um, like his arm or something, and then or even here, and then now it was almost as if it looked like parasitic, as if it was from the inside out, because eating, like, kind of flesh eating in a way where it looked like um it was like one of those sea creatures that you see, but it was feeding off like the flesh here, and then you just saw like his mouth was bloody and in pain. So I was seeing what to do, so I thought, since I was healing the last time, I would try doing that again, but it actually made it worse. Um, and then he was getting angry. So I asked, like, did you sell your soul? And you don't have to specifically say it to do it. Or do your sins burden you? And when I said that part, I got the vision again of the bear like on a crucifix, and then he's crying on there. So there's, even for him, like there's a god complex or a higher power type of um, thought behind it. So I made a place for him to be almost like um, laying to rest in a way. And I prayed the guardian angel prayer the first time. And then when I did that, I noticed there was angels surrounding like the area, that the bed area. And then as I look around, it was like it multiplied. There were so many angels around me, just surrounding this area. And the angels that were multiplying, it almost looked like they were there, but um, had to say the guardian angel prayer again because I feel like they weren't completely. Um, I don't say this very often, but they weren't completely manifested there. Because I feel like I say that word like once in a blue moon unless I really mean it. So I said the prayer again, and I felt that I didn't need to be there. So as I was walking and leaving the mind, um, there was just the light that was blaring, that was blinding, and all you could hear was the bear screaming at the top of his lungs. And I did get another vision after that. It was a specific vision because it had to do with a memory, but it felt like spirit was talking through this person when I had a job that I didn't need to be at anymore. It frankly it wasn't a good job environment. Um because it was one that didn't it wasn't a safe job to be at anyway. And the person was saying like you need to go, Adrian, that you don't um like you don't belong here. If you stay here you'll um it won't be good for you. So this later I was seeing maybe what would be there at the bear's mind. And when my soul traveled, there was an ascended master that it blocked the door. And I had a feeling that I wouldn't want to see what was going on in there. But later that day, I did have a vision as if like almost like a kind of like like a conveyor belt or like a anchor almost. Something that brings something down slowly. It was like a box area where the bear was. And it was like sinking the bear in, like in this box, like going further and further and further down. Almost like I don't want to say like in a rude way, like a trash chute, but um like a laundry chute or something, but not as quickly. So those were the main channeled messages of what I saw. And then another vision of being near the water. Since I didn't need to be there, I needed to be near the water again. And now I'll pull out some cards. The strength is at the bottom of the pastoral tarot. I would like to say for the circle of friends portion, I am getting more than one energy. One specifically, well, the main one that I was about to talk about in this video, the main words that I was getting is hush money. And that is also a continuation from the last video too, of when I was getting money going to a different source than what was intentionally made for the money to go to initially. Sorry, I said that weird. But then there was a kind of, I say kind of, a repeating energy. Because before I had this energy of this one um, person that it was almost like a ghost to the bear. I say their version of a ghost because in that aspect, it's not the ghost in that type of sense that you would normally know it to be, but a ghost as if it was like, as I said, making things look like accidents and assassinating energy. The energy comes up again in this reading. It came up again today. Um, we'll see when I turn over all the cards, what comes out. I feel like with this energy of hush money, and obviously when you have that type of money, because you have the Six of Pentacles, and it doesn't seem like it's worth the value of being in that position because the Six of Pentacles is not giving very much to a situation or not giving a lot of coin to a situation, if you will. Because you also have the Eight of Swords, the Martyr here too. And with those two together, it just seems that to carry this secret, to carry this weight or load, is not worth it. Um, and then there's like, it looks like the sun on the cap, like almost land of the rising sun type of imagery, like with Japan almost, with this, not the same imagery, but symbolism in a way. Because there is a type of awareness. Um, and what this person got paid was just not worth the price of knowing. Because it's also with the Seven of Wands, like the danger with the frontier on this card. So basically becoming a target at this point. But in a way, it is protection. This is kind of feels like a trapped energy too, because it's like the energy of the things revealed behind closed doors. Because you have the Hanged Man. And this is not being able to move in this reading, not being able to be able to move based off of what you know. Because in a way, the Hanged Man is one that receives or retrieves information, and from that it's set free. But it kind of feels like the opposite, because you also have the Nine of Swords too, and this could be receiving information, but also um, because it could have to do with the dream state too. They saw something that they shouldn't have. I feel like it's more that they saw something that they shouldn't have, and now, or they found out something that they shouldn't have, or that they wouldn't have, they regretted knowing at this point. And the saying escapes me, but with the Empress card, it feels like stuck in a rock in a hard place, if that's what it is. Because there isn't a lot of mobility that comes from this energy. And it's interesting, because there's the Ace of Cups here too, and the reversed Five of Cups. The Five of Cups in general, it would be saying upright, if it were an upright card, that I am upset about something more than I should be because it's not as bad of a situation as I'm making it out to be. But if it's in reversed, it's as bad as the situation as I know it to be. This isn't a good position. Um, it kind of reminds me of this isn't exactly the same, but people that stay in relationships or dynamics or partnerships, it could be relationships in that way. It could also be business relationships too, or interactions like that. Um, and I'm not saying anything to diagnose anybody, but with love bombing, it seems if maybe it wasn't caught on early, which in a lot of cases, why would it be? Because a person is putting in a lot of effort to maybe see you or talk to you, go out of their way to do things for you. And in reality, it could be ulterior motives, or it could be multiple things, but a lot of times you notice after like maybe a couple weeks or a month or maybe even longer than that, rarely, I would say, that it there's a lot of doing this, that, and the third with you, like trying to do things for you, trying to see you, trying to talk to you. And after that time frame, it abruptly stops. And it's like almost like a 180 type of energy. And then you find out this later on when you're invested in it. Um, for some energies, they voluntarily stay with these people. I don't say these people in that way, but um, people that do this, and there's they stay, like their souls stay until the end, even when the other person tries to destroy them. So it's not one of those instances where you're able to, I guess, it's on an individual basis, and I don't want to sound offensive, but for those relationships where you're kind of like a bit relieved that it didn't go on further than it did. And I mean, I guess I could give an example. Um, so if I went out with somebody and then through the grapevine I found out that from like through the grapevine I found out that they were having a child, and then um it didn't end up working out in their favor because of how it started and how it ended with the other person. And you just kind of put like the timeline together and you're like, ooh. And it's not supposed to be in a mean way, but in honesty, like you're a lot in those instances specifically, you are relieved that it didn't go on further than what it did, because um it just wouldn't be healthy, and it would be unfortunate. For this specific energy, there isn't um, it goes further on, and it kind of feels like this person didn't know the tricks of the bear, and it kind of put them in a stuck position. Because the longer this goes on, it feels like it hurts them more than it heals them. As for the assassin energy, well, they're in the works of something. I was I was gonna, well, since I'm reading on basically two energies at this point, um, sorry, I'm gonna go a little, sorry, go back and forth on it, and because with the assassin energy, the card that I was getting first is the Page of Wands, the Messenger, and with the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is a card of collaboration too. So there is something in the works with that. And there is a little bird in a way, because you see a bird here and you also see birds here. And honestly, these are cards of kind of predatorial energy with an owl and a cat, even though it seems more domesticated and reading it as more of something that preys on other things. And with the crystal there, it's like amplified of a quartz. Because now, since it's amplified, I'm getting quartz, and when you amplify quartz, you could do that with like copper. Copper is a natural energy conductor too, because now I get the Two of Cups, and there's also the Three of Pentacles there too. And since it's a collaboration, and the Two of Cups, it's more than one person. Um, and you also get a cat and a snake on this one. More of like observing, because the heron is there too, and a bird is at the bottom. Another bird is at the bottom. the little bird or birds. There's more than one now, and they communicate and they collaborate and they send the messages because you also have, along with the Two of Cups, you have the Lover's card. So this is kind of fully invested because with the Lover's card, they're pretty entwined with each other. Lovers, I know this is an Aquarius reading. It is associated with Gemini. Gemini is one sign, but it's technically two with the twins. So it's like one hand knows what the other hand is doing. And then you see like the fasting here. Like if it was kind of one of those ceremonies are initiated. And the sun is there, land of the rising sun. There's a sense of awareness there. And you also have the moon, since I said wounds. Um, Someone could be wounded from this energy. Either they're wounded or somebody else got wounded from these energies. Again, multiple with the chariot too. With this type of energy, at least two. As for the other energy, so I was because I started turning over the other cards. Something comes to a close with this energy because I feel like it had to do with the visions that I was getting, and when I went back to see what was going on in the bear's mind, because I'm getting the reversed Four of Wands for the future card. So there's less of a grasp, less um I'm getting less. I know this is wands, but I'm also getting less to talk about, less of a um like if they were to come together, there's less to talk about. In the past, there's the strength card. In the overall, well, the energy that came out, the first card that came out of the pastoral tarot is the strength card. That was the interference in the past. In the present, there's the sun card and the emperor. The emperor card is aged. It's aged in some way to where um, it kind of feels like wanting a full-on retirement for that, which is unusual for the emperor card. Um, it does have, I'm sorry, I keep creaking, an elderly person, and it kind of reminds me of like, I guess, presidents in America. I'm not sure if what it is for other countries, but you have to have um, at least a certain amount of money for you to even run. So most of the time, to even get to that point of your life, majority of the candidates or the people running for president tend to be an older age. And speaking of money, other alternatives, there could be wanting to or needing to go somewhere else and maybe start fresh and even find other things to do too. One aspect of it could be saving money in different ways. And it doesn't need to be the natural sense of saving money. It could be ways that you spend less on something or even nothing at all. Because, especially, and again with America, it's different in different areas from what I've heard. But in America, the education is not cheap and it's not free. And especially for like college, one way, I suppose, and this is specific, is that you can use like military benefits to help fund you when you're going through college. And I don't know how far of an extent this goes, but it can be passed down, those benefits. So when I use the military benefits going to college, I saved around like 40,000, I believe, which is at isn't bad. But there's definitely other colleges that are really expensive. Um, I would say that there are things to be aware of course, to look out for. A lot of times in life, I would say like trust the process is really good, but the fine print of it is definitely something to be mindful of. Because the first month that I used it, well, technically I had to pay out of pocket for the first month, and then it's kind of like it sanctioned you in. And then after that, that's when you started to get the payments for paying for the courses. And for me, I had to keep at least above a C, or else I would have to pay it back. So it's just something to keep in mind, like after this time that's coming to an end, especially because it was very specific with what was happening with the bear. Um, that some might have to go forward happily and to do something that maybe you're really interested in, like the the type of thing that you went to college for. So a lot of times, like we get a degree and um, we use it vaguely or we don't use it. Luckily, I use it sometimes, but for I mean I had some courses that are definitely to what I do right now anyway. In the present, along with the Emperor, so these are the major arcana cards too. The Hierophant is a major arcana card, the Strength, the Chariot, the Moon. A lot of major arcana cards coming in because there's the major and minor arcana. So I would say the minor arcana is like day-to-day things, still impactful. Major arcana is, again, the Fool's Journey. As I said before, you start with the Fool, you end with the Fool, because the Fool's Journey is associated with the major arcana. The Fool card has the numerical value of 0. So it's a constant journey. The Star card is here, another major arcana card. And those are the ones at the moment. And the Empress is here. And the Hanged Man. Sorry. So a lot of major arcana cards. Even with the cluster of cards that I pulled out, respectively. How to overcome the obstacle, as I said, is the star card with the Queen of Wands, I feel like is associated with the Strength card. Um, it's interesting with the Queen of Wands. I'm not saying she doesn't give a fuck, but she's gonna do what she's gonna do. And there's a guidance with it with the Star card. There's just such an energy, and I try not to use specific terms too vaguely. Um, but with the chosen one, like theory, I suppose, they say that they often go with the beat of their own drum, which can be confrontational and challenging to the social norm, um, which can lead to maybe isolation or ostracizing them. I'm sorry, I keep getting tongue twisted of their energy because they challenge the status quo on that. So there is a type of independence that comes with the Queen of Wands, but in order to stand out or in order to stand out, you have to be different. The obstacle is the Ace of Wands, and this one it seems like it wouldn't be the biggest obstacle because I'm sorry, I said Ace of Wands, I meant Ace of Swords. So it could be associated with the Ace of Wands too. When you get air with fire, it's like a tornado because they feed off of each other. So this is kind of like getting as much talk out of you or really saying what you mean. Um, and I don't think it would be a problem with the Queen of Wands because this feels like a Spitfire energy anyway. So I'm going to pull out a couple more cards. I pulled out a lot of cards, but I'll just say these and more repeating cards. The Star came out again in another deck. The Star was in the Soft Legends Tarot. So this one is I know it's the folk something tarot. Sorry. Along with the Nine of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. There's an awareness with the Star card of what needs to be done. It's just a matter of following those signs. As I've said before, sometimes we're kind of given the step to step journey or directions because if we knew the full picture on what was going to happen and what we were supposed to do, there would be a good chance that we wouldn't want to do it. So there's the dove there, which can be seen as more, I would say, the energy of more angelic too, because doves tend to have gentle energies, at least when I had a dove. And since this is a technically an Aquarius reading, it's associated with the star card too. With the Five of Pentacles, it feels like a lack, but again with divine timing. Traditionally, the Five of Pentacles is seen with people that need something and are outside of a sacred area, specifically a church in at least the Rider Waite Smith. So that with the Nine of Wands, it does, even though it feels like you're struggling to keep going, with the Star card, it's definitely saying the worst is almost over. Just keep going. Of course, there's an ebb and flow, and some days are better than other days. Overall, for this major part of the cycle, um, it's like you're passing the climactic point. Some might be still wounded, and there's just such an agitation with the healing process. Because with the Knight of Wands, it's also like a wounded warrior type of energy, too. She has the bandages on her. I would want to say that the next couple of readings are going to be more of healing readings and videos that I wanted to do. But again, life has the twists and turns, so I'll see how that is. So there's the Strength card coming from three decks, the Pastoral Tarot, Slavic Legends Tarot, and I feel like it's the Folktale Tarot actually. So I really love this interpretation of this Strength card because it just seems like there's a comfort in having something that can be seen as so dangerous. It's almost like it's tamed, or using it when necessary, or knowing that it's not as bad as people perceive it to be. And with the monkey in the background, it's almost as if it's being able to, there's just like a comfort or a mobility or a control with that Strength card, like a tamed energy. I didn't address these other cards. Sorry, there's the Ten of Swords and the Six of Cups. So things that resurfaced, I was getting that things that were kept in the darkness, specific information was kind of brought to light. And now that's where the climactic point is too. And the detaching, and now you know this information. And it's always, it's like those things too, as I was saying in the beginning, um, about maybe like finding out that your ex had like a kid, and then you're looking at the time frame, you're like thinking about the time frame, you're like, oh, damn. Um, it's kind of like your guides cemented that in you, and like for everything that is pure, do not go back to this person. And for them to just like throw all the hints out there, no matter how like distasteful or no, even though it was like indifference at that time, no matter how like um honestly like shameful it kind of is. So these acts of like disrespect, it's like how far are you gonna go to like disrespect somebody? So there's the Six of Cups again. And this feels like the words that I'm getting, peace as there was before, as much as you can have it. Because you can't go back to things like that. But life tends to bring you comfort when these times of turmoil pass. And even during those times, because he had the Queen of Cups. Again, with even if it's super difficult to find at least one thing that you're grateful about every day. Some might have to think harder than others with the King of Swords, the King of Reason. But it's also having that momentum and diligence to propel that energy forward. 'Cause then you have the Magician and the Empress card, putting those things into action, and the Empress, slow and steady progress. To be at peace or at one with the Six of Cups. I was getting at one too, so those are specific messages for that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video. I'm so sorry for my chair. Bye.